All right, guys, I'm back. I'm back. Don't listen. Things happen. I am back. I am back. I did get in touch with Amanda, and she should be joining us soon. So, welcome back. Come on back in. Come on back in, guys. Come on back in. We're going to have this conversation of why people do not get mental health help. So everyone that came in, thank you for joining on time. We had little hiccups and I think she had another call. Whatever the case is, we are back and we're going to have this conversation. Yes. Let's see. All right, I see you. You request. All right, we're going to bring her on in. Amanda is dope. One of my team members who've been with me since day one. I appreciate her so much. She pilots therapy is dope. And
Yeah.
I gotta tell you about dear Amanda too. So I was just talking, look, I gotta give you your props, right?
Oh my goodness, and I
Yes,
appreciate that.
listen.
Hello.
Yes, y'all. Therapy is dope. It's been with us. She piloted. We talked about it, and she just went for it. And this is her platform, and she just allow us to use that name. Therapy is dope. It is a great section. And we have our therapist that's giving that help right from, a professional perspective. And then, dear Amanda, if you all have mental health questions, y'all better send them questions to RileyUpMagazine@gmail.com. She is answering questions. Anyone on here is our age. Remember what was that in the Washington Post that had the Dear Sally?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So that's what it reminds me of. That's where it came from. So she's answering
It's
those
like the
questions.
modern updated version though. So let's go, y'all. Okay, dear Amanda, y'all make
Yes.
sure y'all touch this up.
So welcome to this much needed conversation. And tell us where you all are joining from. We like to see who is going to be a part of this conversation. So everyone who just coming in, I'm Nikki with Riley Up Magazine. I am the founder, and this is Amanda. She is one of our contributor writers, and even the editor of our Therapy is Dope section. So welcome. And we're going to have this conversation of why people do not get mental health help. And
Such a good question.
whew, guys, I am just getting back in therapy myself. I just got off my therapy session before this one. Hello, it was at 11 o'clock. I am not shameful to talk about it, but I am shameful to say that it took me a while. I got to a really bad place, even in the place of bed, because I got so many. Think about it. I'm running this mental health magazine, a nonprofit, in my job, a mother, children. Which you can easily get to the burnt out point and processing death and grief. And I can just go on down the list of the things that I had on me. Why did it take me so long to get into therapy? Why did I wait so long that it's getting so bad for me that here I am, I'm now in therapy? Yeah, I'm going to there's a lot of help
I
out
feel
there.
like we almost need to start. We almost need to start with you, right?
Yeah,
Why did it take you so long? Because
listen,
you were
I'm going to tell
talking
you,
about it.
any of our mental health professionals or anybody on here in this field that's been in here for a long time, just because we think we know everything about mental health and we think we can apply our own coping skills and we think that we can, I got it. I know I've been doing this for a long time, over a decade, and I know my tools and tips and I know how to take care of myself. Listen, that was my biggest thing. I know it. I can help other people. I can give tips and tools, and I'm trying
Oh yeah.
to find time to apply it to my own life and not really getting an opportunity to talk to a professional to, looking in the mirror at
Put
myself,
space for yourself. Yeah.
looking in the
Yeah.
mirror at myself and saying, okay, enough is enough. So for me, that was my mistake. Just coming out of just thinking that I could take all the tools and tips and things that I know and apply it to myself and not thinking that I really, really need it from another professional. We as mental health professionals need a therapist too. So anyone out here
Uh,
that's going to listen to
uh,
this, listen, y'all, I am a prime example to say that you have to, even whatever you're in the field, I'm not, I'm in there for my grad school, for my clinical mental, licensed and, degree and everything, but I work in the field. I have clients, I carry out the treatment plan. We need somewhere to go dump all that so that transparent, transference of their stuff, all of
right.
that. We need somewhere to
All of
go.
that.
All that we
Yeah.
we
And we don't always realize that, right? Like how much we take on and how much things impact us. And I
Mm-hmm.
think a perfect example of that is what's going on right now at the school in Texas, right? Like we all feel a certain way about that, right? If you have kids, it touched you. If you're a parent, it's touched you. If you're a human, it touched you. And that stuff sits with us. And we take all of that. It's almost like you're dropping rocks in a backpack, right? So okay, I've just taken that. I've gone and helped my friend because she knows she always calling me to give, ask me her questions, and I'm always giving advice. I'll put another rock in that backpack, right? If we see clients or help people in whatever capacity, even if you're just helping people at the store, their attitudes, their behaviors, all of that rubs off on you. There's another rock in the backpack, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you just keep adding to that backpack, it's wearing you down. And a lot of times we don't pay attention to that own weight, how it feels for us physically, how it feels for us emotionally. And we just keep going. And then we don't realize we're dragging, we're
Mm-hmm.
slower, we're tired, we're exhausted, we're snapping at people, we can't sleep, we can't eat right. We eating too much honey and hips are telling on you, right?
I'm over here like, if you don't get out of my house, if you don't get out of my life, no, listen. That was the biggest thing. Like, if you're not
Uh-huh.
functioning like you know, you looking at it like it's just if it's going on for weeks, like you know what I mean, for a long, like I wasn't getting a proper sleep. Well, for one, my mind, I got so much on my plate. I'm like trying to process it all, and I'm
Yeah.
realizing I'm only getting like 4 hours of sleep. You know, so then that puts on because see, we always look at it like you have to have a mental illness to go get therapy or to get help.
Right.
But it feels so good to have someone to help me process, you
Right.
know what I mean, these things that I got going on in my life, good and bad. You know, because it doesn't have to be like these bad things, like you got to be going
Right.
through a crisis or something. But it was just like I am a person who, you know, I'm doing so much. I'm doing so much. And it's like, but then my life is still happening. Life is still happening. Life don't stop happening.
It
You
is.
know, we have
And
I
it's
have a funeral to
expecting
go
you to
to
show up,
next week,
and it's
right? You know, I
expecting you
lost
to
a
do.
loved one. Exactly. So life continues to happen. So then you're still trying to do all of the hats and carry the hats out that you wear and still do life. So that's why I'm in therapy. Not, you know, not so, yes, I do have anxiety and stuff, but not so much those things, but just the things that I'm
Yeah,
trying to unpack. I have so much I'm unpacking and I'm trying to do it by myself. And that's what's
that
causing
doesn't
me
work.
to get, yeah, it's not working. It's
Yeah.
not working.
You know,
So,
and it's two things. It's trying to do it by yourself, right? And it's also avoiding looking at it because a lot of times we use other people to distract us from our own stuff.
that's it.
We don't want to look at why that weight is so heavy, right? Why I'm not doing so well. It's easier for us to go tell everybody else what to do and to go give to everybody else and show up for everybody else and always say yes, right? And then woe is me, why am I feeling this way? But it's because we don't want to deal with us in the first place, right? So it's trying to do it all by ourselves and not dealing with what's really going on with us too. I think those are some of the reasons that we hold ourselves back and we don't want to get help because it's hard to look at yourself. And you can share that. I'm sure as much as this has helped you to kind of figure out the things on your plate, are there parts of this experience therapy wise that's been hard to deal with? Like looking at yourself, has it always been comfortable, Miss Nikki? Oh, she's falling out.
And you know
She's
what's
falling out,
hard?
girl.
And
Don't
you
come
listen,
snatch you up.
you right, listen, you need to come listen. I'm gonna tell you what's hard too. That when you get to the point that it's so overwhelming that you literally you have no choice but to step back. And so here I am. Oh, I'm the founder and leading this mental health magazine. How dare you? I
Ooh,
had to.
ooh.
I was snatched back. I had, you know, I had no choice because I had nothing to show up with. You know, I was just like, oh my gosh. And so then once one ball is dropped, you're dropping multiple balls. You're at this point, you know, your life is starting to fall apart. So why wait till you get to that point? So I'm guilty. I can talk about it now, but I mean, thank God for the team members that kind of try to hold one arm up and the other. But at the end of the day, even knowing what that looks like, we don't even know how to delegate things out because we want to be in
Oh,
complete
yeah.
control. thinking that people can't do it right. And if we don't even give people
Yeah.
a chance to kind of help you out a little bit, to kind of delegate those things out, that part becomes
Mhm.
awful, right? So for me,
And
uh,
that's deep though. I think that's also like a cultural thing, and we got to look at that, especially in like our Black and brown communities where, we're raised to do everything ourselves, right? And some of it is survival, some of it is just real, right? Like,
mhm,
my parents immigrated here, and for a while it was just my mom and like three kids, right? So she's got to figure out going to work, getting us to school, making sure like we survive,
mhm,
So part of her always going and doing was to make sure that we're okay. And the model, though, that you learn is that that's what you do. You
mhm,
work hard and you do because we've got to make sure that everybody's okay. And we don't see how to ask for help and how to put it down. I think the biggest thing that I saw from my mom was that she did pray, though, right? Like every time when she it was too much and she opened up her Bible, the girl is praying. And that's still a strength that, I still carry in my life. But I think for a lot of us culturally, we're taught to keep going
mhm,
and to not ask for help and to not let anybody know. Maybe we don't know how, but that's also part of our issue too.
mhm.
We hold on for too much. We do too much. We
Lady
don't
C,
delegate.
Lady CVG say we yelling at her. She like, listen, I hope this isn't being helpful. It does definitely zip. Mass said that a compounding events in your daily life, it does start to the results is not good when we allow those things to just come on top of each other, and it's hard to look in the mirror and say that we're not holding it together. So let's just get in on some of the people that are probably dealing with maybe some mental illnesses. I mean, we got so many things now, the hotlines and resources. We got Rally Up magazine. We have
Yeah.
all these. I mean, the social media is swimming with therapists now, but people are still not getting help. I think one of the things that I do hear, and maybe you can address that, is people are scared of their own mental illness. That part resonates
Mm,
with me.
yeah.
Um,
I gotta imagine it's scary though not to get help though, and it's scary to see that show up and to feel alone and by yourself with that too,
mhm,
right? So,
yeah.
while it might be scary, the idea of going to tell somebody about it and be honest and open up about your experiences, once you do that, there's a relief that comes after that,
Mhm,
right? You don't get to experience that if you don't open up. All you get to do is live in like fear and worry about what could be, what's going to happen.
mhm,
But you can really almost an instantaneous relief by going to get some help.
mhm. So part of that with Riley Up Magazine and why we have these conversations is removing the
Yeah,
stigma too that goes along with
absolutely.
that. The stereotype of the conception of what even getting help looks like. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Once you say I need help and you go say you go into a hospital or whatever, like that whole part being locked away, and it's like sometimes that part too is scary. What are they gonna say to me when I say I'm having thoughts, or um, you
Right.
know, the thoughts alone is scary, especially someone that may be having some suicide ideations, or hearing
Yeah.
voices or whatever that is. Um, I know that's terrifying. So trying
Oh,
to
yeah.
explain it to someone, this is what's going on in my mind. Um, that part is terrifying. But I agree with you 100%. It's not going to go away until you get. So let's get anyone on here, if they can get that part, it's not going to go away until you actually, go get some sort of help.
Yeah,
Um,
and if you're getting help with a professional, you got to remember, like, you're walking into the room with somebody that knows what they're doing, right?
mm,
So, and they're hopefully experienced with this stuff and can guide you. It's kind of like you can braid your own hair, but you can go to a hairdresser who got the skills to give you like a heart on the side and make it like
right,
twist
right,
up and
right.
right. I'm like, my hairdresser to get this done. Like, I just want to go stuff
Yeah,
myself, but she do it. I
yeah,
walk out like, oh
yeah,
girl,
yeah.
right? So it's one thing to try to figure it out yourself. It's one thing to try to talk to maybe a friend and family, but when you go to somebody that this is what they do, they start to listen to you. They're there without that judgment because they get it. They hear this all the time. They know what you don't know, which is that you're not alone. And a lot of people are doing and experiencing what you're experiencing. And we also get that there's real reasons behind that, right? Maybe some stress behind that. Maybe some loss behind that, right? You talked about grief. Grief is powerful. It can shift your system. It can really jack you up, right? People go through some real experiences and they get that. So we come from that place of already getting that. And I think that already starts to make you comfortable, because then you say, you're like, oh, shoot, like they not taking me, like they not, and for me and my work as a therapist, like, my goal is not to quickly diagnose you and put a label on you. My goal is to take my time and understand your story and what's happening and try to get us to what's going to help you feel better for you, right? So that's important, okay? When it comes to diagnosis, it should really take some time for us to figure it out, right? We've got to ask a lot of good questions to figure it out. And even then, you are not your diagnosis. That's just a
it does not define you.
It supports you. Yeah. And no, we don't send everybody to a hospital. And no, we don't lock everybody up. Right? Not, we have less resources now, so we can't do that. Right? So we're working hard to give you the skills that you need to go through this life that you want to do. Right? So it's not all about being locked up. It's about getting the support that you need.
Yeah. I think one of the ways that I think was great, and I try to get people to understand like how, I mean, and how much the brain is connected to our body, that we wake up feeling the exhaustion starts to weigh on my body in different ways. So a lot of times it starts with the mental and we don't realize that. But getting people to the point to accept, like telling someone that your brain is sick. Like in that version, like, you got the sickness in your body, or I'm hurting a certain way. I wake up with some pain, my stomach hurt or whatever. Okay, well, your brain's sick right now, and expecting that you need to get some help, for just it's not normal to think this way, or it's not normal to, just kind of, I don't know, given that perspective of it in that
That's a great perspective, though.
Yeah, in a kind way. I know you hear a lot saying, oh, well, you go treat your body like you do diabetes and all this, so you should do your brain the same way. But I'm just like the brain can, and sickness in the brain doesn't necessarily, like I said, be the mental illness part. It's just that it could be a transition in your life. It could be something that, like you say, grief. Losing my mom, like, you're processing that, and it can go on for years. Like, I'm going into the second year and I'm still kind of like, dang, every holiday, every birthday, it reminds you of that. And if you never got help for it, you're revisiting it every time. So
right. It's hurting just as much every time. You don't really know what to do with it. Yeah. It's like a spectrum, right? Like there's mental health, which belongs to everybody, and then mental illness is on the other side. And, on that side is more the severe things, but most of us fall in the middle on any given day, right? And we could be doing well, and then something happens, and then we're not, right? Something happened yesterday, and we're not, right? It could be we get a phone call, and we're not. Right? We didn't do so well on the test, and we're not. So we could fall at different places in that spectrum. It's not always about mental illness, but it's about your mental health. And at times it may not be doing as well as you like, right? So, and just like there's different variations of sick. So I like your example, because I could be really sick and I need to stay home and rest, or like I'm sick, but like I'm
mental health
okay.
Yeah, we get a mental health day.
Right. Right now I got a chest cold, but you probably can't tell, so there's things I don't feel good about physically, but I can still get up and go and do what I got to do. So there's times you may be stressed, overwhelmed, or whatever, but you can still get up and go do what you got to do. It doesn't mean that we're in a place of like a serious diagnosis or mental health illness, but it still requires your attention. It still may need some rest. Your mind may need rest, right? So I like the idea that your mind may not be doing as well, which is hard to think about, but if that thing isn't working, your body isn't working, you can't function the same. So it needs a lot of love and attention.
Yes, we have to. So getting back to the why people don't get mental health help. So I know we talked about. We think we got it all together. That was me. I thought I had it all together. I thought I was good.
We don't like to look at ourselves.
And didn't realize till I was at my breaking point. Then you got people that's scared or what they're going to be told, or just the mental illness itself. And I think big what trying to get a handle of that is just learning what it is and educating yourself on what it is, because getting someone else's version, stay away from that. Like, stop listening to, as soon as you, like bipolar, that is thrown out of completely of what bipolar is.
There's a lot of things that's like overused, right? There's words that I hate.
Listen,
Yeah,
if you're not
like,
educate yourself on
come
what
and
you're
talk about
talking about.
it. Yeah, yeah. Google don't have all the answers, and while I love social media for what it does for putting things out there, it's also not everything applies to you, right?
Yes,
So,
yes,
if it's something you are concerned with, like, go sit down and talk to somebody and see what it is, right? And feel free to get another opinion, right? But don't sit with it. I
yeah.
think that's
That's a good one.
we sit
Don't sit with
too
it.
long.
Yeah, that's a good one. Don't be so wrapped up in your own thoughts on what uh
Or
you
your
know
fears.
you
We
know
talk
your
about
brain.
that being fear too.
Pay attention, like you say, you pay attention to your body and the changes in your body. I also think, like, as women, we do our self-check. We check to see if we got lumps and stuff like that. Do the mental health check. There's a lot of free mental health checks out there. You could do a questionnaire to kind of get an idea. Like, if you like, I'm tripping a little bit, I'm a little off, do the questionnaire just to say, wait, let me just see. It's right there, mental health association or the administration, one of
Yeah,
them, that they
there's
do
some
the
good
free
ones.
mental health
NAMI
screening.
has some good ones. Yeah.
Yeah, you do the free mental health screening on depression, anxiety. Even if you're saying I'm having thoughts, if you're scared. Like, I hear people say you hear people or whatever, it might be schizo. Do the test. Like, stop trying to self-diagnose yourself with what's going on in your mental. You can take that off of you. Because, okay, I'm about to go there. I'm about to go there. You miss your
Uh-oh.
cycle. You run into CVS, Walgreens, or whatever, trying to get yourself a pregnancy test. I done missed my cycle. Okay. Can we treat our mind the same? Can we treat our mind the same way? Like, I'm a little off. I'm going through a little bit. Maybe I need to check and see if I need to get additional
Yeah.
help. I think that's a great
And
start.
the biggest thing is, like, if it's going on for a long time, like, yourself, and like you're saying, if you know you're off and you've been off for like a week, 2 weeks, it's hard to shift it. That's a sign, right? If your sleep is off, you're not getting as much, you wake up a lot at night, it's really different for you. That's a huge one. If your sleep is off, it's hard to regulate everything else, right? Changes in the appetite, that's another one. And then just like that, loss of interest. I don't like the things that I used to like anymore. I used to hang out with my friends. I don't want to be bothered. I'm at home more than usual. I'm in the room when the covers don't want to get out of bed. Don't turn on the light. I ain't even getting up to eat. Like, those are already like ding, ding, ding. Some stuff is going on. I think it's a great idea to go do a little self-test, see what's up. Call a hotline. It's anonymous. You don't have to say your name if you don't want, but just to say, hey, I'm not sure. Like, does it sound okay? Like, what do you think? What do you recommend? Let someone else tell you. They don't know you. They're not going to judge you, but they may have some resources for you, right? So the longer you wait, though, some things are harder to come back from because we wait so
Too
long to
long,
get help.
way too long. And it's about you. I will say another reason why people don't get help is they're afraid of how people are going to treat them. They're afraid of how people are going to
Judgment.
view them. I think also
Yeah.
with jobs, people say,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
as it pertains to their mental health, it
Mm-hmm.
jeopardizes their jobs, depending on what type of job that they have. But you could touch on this as well, but I would say to anyone who's in those situations of what someone may think or how they're going to treat them, if it's going to jeopardize your job, is it going to make you lose some friends? Is it going to make your family member look at you different? I've been in all those situations. Guess what? Even when it came to my daughter and her mental illness, and even coming down to the attempts of suicide, when it came down to it, my daughter's life it topped all that. I didn't even, you know what
That's
I
what
mean?
was in my head. What's your priority?
What
Yep.
in your life, look at it that way. If this get really bad, because that ball will drop. I'm trying to tell you, if you don't get help, if you know you're going through something mentally and you don't get the help that you need, you're going to drop that ball at some point, and it's not going to be good, and you're going to be in a situation that is not that's hard to turn around. So even thinking about it from that perspective, I'm looking at some of the
Absolutely.
ACEs are real. Yeah, I gotta get you on here, Doctor. I gotta get you on here, Doctor Victorious, to talk about those ACEs. That's a good one. Um,
Mm-hmm.
some people
No
don't realize
trauma
that they
and
have issues
the
with it. They don't
experience.
normalize
Yeah.
that part.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that, Amanda. And why?
Trauma and what we
So
experience.
I try to normalize mental health, but people have
Yeah.
normalized dysfunction and toxic and the fact of being
Oh, get
quote
it,
unquote.
girl. Get it. That's the problem. We normalize dysfunction. And like, I don't even mean to say it in a bad way because, again, like, I think some of it is like survival. I think some of it is like we just don't even know that there's something wrong here. Or we kind of do. We have that instinct and that gut feeling, but we're not exposed to things to really know better or do better, right? That's what I love about Rally Up Magazine. It gives you the opportunity to see that there's other options out there. Because when we talk about trauma, what do we usually think about, right? We think sexual trauma, physical abuse, but there's so many other things. If you
Mm-hmm.
grew up with an alcoholic parent, that's traumatic. If you had somebody that was arrested, right, and went to jail, that's traumatic. If it was domestic violence and you're exposed to that, that's traumatic, right? I have a child, now a teenager, who grew up around that, and parents thinking they hiding their problems, their troubles from her, but children see things, they hear things, right? Now they grow up, they're crying and they don't know why. They don't want to go to school and they don't know why. So these things impact us whether or not we realize it. And those are simple things, the loss of a loved one. And the more exposure you've had to those things, the more those things have happened in your life, the more likely you are to experience things like mental illness, right? Like depression, anxiety, even suicide. It increases your risk for those things. And for a lot of Black and brown communities, that's everyday things.
Mm-hmm.
Exposure to violence,
Violence,
that's every
yes.
day, right?
I mean the
That's
high,
every day.
yeah, high rate
So,
of overdoses.
oh,
We
yeah.
can go
And
down. We probably could pull out a whole scroll. And I think too, like you said, people kind of numb to. It's like a part. I think because I grew up in Southeast, 14th and Go Road. Saw a guy like probably so many steps away from me, shot in the head.
mhm,
And when it's like you get numb to it. And it's just like
after a while, it's
you
like another
know,
day. Oh, there we go again.
yeah,
Hmm.
you don't even look at it as that's something I need to get. I need someone to help me process and how it
Yeah.
affects the way you see life and how
Oh, it
your
changes
perspective.
things.
It affects you in so many ways. And you never really got as a kid, like or as a teenager, you never got help. It's like suck it up, keep it moving. And like you said, that is a culture
Right.
thing. Yeah, it's a culture thing. But
Nobody probably even asked you, like, are you
no,
okay with that? Like,
no,
right? Like, oh,
no, never
like, what
asked.
happened?
No,
Right. I know
no.
you walked by. I know you heard that, right? Like, are
Yeah.
you okay? That doesn't happen, right? So when you talk
I don't
about
even
those
remember
rocks,
no one
they're
asking me if
blessings.
it was okay. I think that we just talked about what happened. Oh, dang, that's
And that's
messed
it.
up.
All right, you heard? Yeah, she was walking over there. Yo, da 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 da. I was like, shots fired. Da, 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 right?
Never
And
processed
we
it.
like, but there's a part of us that impacts us, right? We're scared, we're worried, we don't feel safe anymore. And going over those rocks, it's like you're adding rocks in the backpack. And even if you don't realize it right then and there, at some point that bag is going to be too heavy. You're going to be in some trouble. And if we haven't learned how to deal with it and how to cope with it, and at a minimum, how to ask for help, then we're in trouble.
Yes. Well, we had someone to say you becomes a buzzword and turns people off to actually learning themselves and getting the help. Um, that's big.
We got too many buzzwords, I tell you. But at the end of the day, know how you feel. And if you're
Yes.
not feeling too right, like just ask somebody, right? Like just ask somebody. That's okay.
Yeah, we definitely look forward to talking to other. This is like I said, this platform. We love having conversation and normalizing mental health and talking to other like-minded people. That's all about being a part of this journey, rallying up to save lives, and having these conversations for sure. Thank you,
Yeah.
Queen. Thank you, Queen, for those great words. The suicide rate has definitely
Here we go up for kids. Yeah.
it has gone up.
It's
Back
on the rise in general.
um 10 years ago, over a decade, probably a little longer. I know my daughter had her first attempt. I didn't know any. It wasn't like it was now. And in fact, even if it was, I don't think we even would have known about it because it's not like, you know how we have social media now. So somebody died by suicide, it's posted. We can talk about it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
posted on our page, not, I shine it because I'm letting people know this is still a fight that needs to continue. It's still going on, and that's not even. It's so many that's not even spoke of. Like, you know what I mean? If you that
Absolutely.
underserved community, like
Yeah.
you're not even hearing about they lost their child to suicide. These are just like the
Right.
stars and celebrities and big people that we're hearing about, like, oh, they died by suicide. But what about
Oh
those
yeah.
ones that's not talked about? What about Trey?
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
brought her on and spoke of her in a magazine, but if she didn't, start her foundation, talk about her son who she lost, that he was
Yeah.
13. What about that? That mom is not strong
Mhm.
enough to shed the light on that. And then the effect of that mom, you have to get help too. Like for me, I got help back then for my daughter and trying to be the mom, after the attempt to suicide. I didn't get it right away. I'm still trying to
Mhm.
raise those 4 kids and do everything you need to do. So it's why people don't get help from for their mental health. It's really a long scroll of reasons. Probably we talked about some of the broad reasons, but there are definitely a lot of little things that's probably not spoke
Mhm.
of why people don't get the help they need, although all the hotlines and organizations and all the things we. So I think the big thing of what we're doing, if we continue to normalize mental health and talk about it, it makes it easier for people to, just like when you say, girl, my blood pressure is high right now. Oh, you know what, I can't eat that because my diabetes. Like people talking about it before, but talking about it now more so, you know what I'm saying? So if we can start having the
Yeah.
same conversations that pertain to our brain, like I'm just not there today. And being okay with not receiving judgment from someone else, or instead just kind of encouraging the next person, girl, take a mental health day and maybe go, see somebody,
Right.
try that,
Yeah. Yeah. Or do the things every day that help take care of you, because all of that helps, right? Like something like high blood pressure, there's some genetics behind it, but a lot of it is also our daily choices, right? Like what we eat, what we put in our bodies. Same thing with your mind, it's what you put in your mind, right? I think that while I love, the idea of going to therapy, clearly therapy is dope, but at the same time, we can do a lot more to help ourselves too, right? So try to get that sleep, cut off the things that aren't working for you. If it's people in your life, if it's toxic relationships, if it's getting away from things like journaling, writing, meditation, right? I know on Rally Up we talk a lot about different ways of how to cope with life. But if you keep practicing those things every day, that helps your mental health, right? I run because if I don't, when my body just ain't gonna like me. And then it's also a good release for me. So I run consistently. That helps me, right? I pray. That helps me. I talk about nonsense with my friends sometimes because just the laughter alone is what I need. And that helps me. So I think that therapy is an amazing answer, but there's also day-to-day things that we've got to keep doing to help our mental health. And just like we would with anything else to help our physical too.
Yes. So yeah, we consume knowing your triggers and stresses, do things you enjoy and exercise. And that big thing too, the triggers, and that's a whole nother live, knowing those triggers and stressors.
Yeah.
Because many people don't know what that looks like or what is a trigger, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Um, I know even working with some of my clients, I use that word and they be like, "What you mean?" When I first say it, like, "What is
Yeah,
that?"
yeah. I
So
mean,
many
what's
people,
getting you off?
yes, and they're
What's getting
like,
you mad, girl?
exactly. So some people
Know
don't even
those
know
things.
what.
What's making you sad,
Yes.
And you may not know it all the time, but that's what we mean. Like, what's changing the atmosphere for you? And sometimes it's okay to not know how to deal with it, but maybe the biggest thing you got to do is put some space between you and that. Leave a conversation, walk outside, get away from something for a few minutes so you can figure out how to better deal with it. I'll
Mhm.
get you some help.
Yeah. And the unfortunate part about even like if you feeling though you may have a mental illness, we're not going to sit here and tell you that when you confront it, it's going to be the easiest and lovely thing to do. Not even. Because I know many people say, I tried it and I ain't like it because it pulled up some even more ugly stuff and they backed off. So it doesn't
Right.
matter very much when you confront that you're having some mental challenges. However, but the end results is good. It's better to get a hold of it or to see the terrible side of it. So I like to say that part because I hear a lot of people who took that step and try to get the help and they like, oh, it was terrible. It was,
Right.
so many bad experiences as it pertained to that. So that part too, I think that's a part of why people don't get the help they need for their mental health. Even
Sure.
even having a crisis, like you waited till you had a crisis and you end up in an institution. And them institutions, all them institutions that's out there that's left, let's say the ones that's left are not good. Like, now I'm not gonna say not all of them, but it can be a terrible experience. Let's just say that.
Oh yeah, it's
And
a hard experience.
mhm.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people say that, and they see the people that's there, and whether it's for drug, whatever the case is, they're there for, and they're like, I don't even know why I'm here. They may not feel like that what they've been through was greater than, whatever the case is. So what I'm saying to you is before you experience that bad, it can be a bad experience because you waited till it was like a crisis. Because that's a lot of times how you end up in hospitalization because you waited till
You
it was like,
waited too long.
you waited too long.
Yeah.
And
Waited too
it's
long. We're
a
not
crisis.
doing the
Yes,
self-care
yes,
things. We're not keeping up with maybe our regimen already, if that includes medication or going to therapy or eating right, sleeping right. So yeah, it's sort of like built up. Or life happened and too
yeah.
fast and we just couldn't really handle it.
Get a
Sure.
handle on it quick enough. And so
Yeah.
that's another reason why I encourage. I know you, and I'm going to say that maybe you had a bad experience. That's one of the reasons why you don't get the help you need for your mental health. So you shine away from it. I ain't get no help anyway. It ain't helped me. All it
Right.
did was make it worse. I heard that.
And listen, like I'll be real with you too. I think that even when it comes to therapy, sometimes it comes down to finding a good fit. Like the person that you're with may not be the fit for you. I encourage people to at least try it out for like a month and see if it's really working. If you feel comfortable, if you feel like they're giving you what you need, they're challenging you, they're supporting you, they're holding space, listening for you, listening to you. And if not, it's okay to have that conversation with them too. Like, don't go to your therapist. Like, just be like, listen, like, this is not working for me, or this is what I'm feeling. Like, what do you think? Or maybe I need someone else. Like, not everybody is for you. Not everybody's also skilled and equipped for what you need. It's like if I
Yes.
need a heart doctor, I'm not going to go to a foot doctor, right? So some of us are trained in different things too. So we may not be able to help you with A, B, C, and D,
Yeah,
and you
some
may
people
need
have
someone else
specialties.
too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Finding out what the specialty is and if
Oh,
they're able to help you in
absolutely.
that. And
Yeah.
then it's your mental health. So if you are
It's
shying away
yours.
because you had a bad experience, it's your mental health. So if you
That's
feel
right.
like this is not a good fit, you have that power to say, you know what, I'm going to continue to look because you're not
Right.
going to go in there if these shoes hurt your feet. You ain't going to walk out that store with them shoes that's hurting your feet. You're going to get you some shoes that fit. Or if this shirt too small, you're going to get a shirt.
I'll give
You
you a new
understand what I'm saying?
beer.
So that's the same with
Yeah,
therapy.
we'll
Like
get the
some people
size
just
up.
deal like, no, if it's not a good fit, move on until you get somebody that is really helping you,
Right. And that's
heal and get
okay.
through the
Yeah,
yes,
that's
and that
really
part.
okay.
hmm
Hmm.
So
That's really okay. It's your
shop around
experience.
for your
Yeah.
therapist, your who, and just like I said, just like you would do for a house, like don't settle. It's your mental health. Do not
Mhm.
settle. So I think that's one of the scares. I just wanted to address that because I think that's another reason why people don't get the help they need because of the bad experiences. Once they get out of the facility or once they get away from a certain therapist that was not good, they like, man, I ain't doing all that. I'm just gonna keep doing what I do. Um,
Yeah.
and so the
And
last thing I'm
remember,
gonna
like,
touch on, I think I want to touch on is just because we both love God. Come on now.
uh-huh. Come on, Jesus.
You know we got to touch
Speak
on
the
this one
word.
before we close it out, right? I
Speak
ain't
the
even gonna touch on
word.
everything, but listen, you know darn well that it's about several of us on here that say, I don't believe in therapy. I'm just gonna pray about it.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, well, how's that working for you? Listen, like, I love prayer. I think it's an awesome coping tool because you're talking, you're getting
Yes.
things out,
Mm-hmm.
right? Whether or not you
Mm-hmm.
believe in it,
Mm-hmm.
it's coming out,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? But God also sends people. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And if we can accept people in other capacities, God, send me somebody to get this job. God, send me somebody to help me with this. God, I really need somebody to fix these gutters, Lord. God, I really need a raise. Like, if we can ask for things in that way, why can't it be different with asking for a therapist, asking for help with what I feel and what I'm going through? Like, God, I don't want to feel this burden anymore. Help me to figure out how to do that, right? Open up my heart to receive the help that comes. Like, use God in that way too, because he sends people. So I think that, we've got to use God and work with him and align with him to get this blessing. He's probably cutting God short. He ain't cutting you short. It ain't getting better. Yeah, it's something about you and what's going on, honey.
Yes.
Because he's all right with you having help.
Listen, I love God with all my heart, but I ain't trying to be like Jonah. He done sent me trying to figure out why I'm drowning in my own mess. And he done sent me help.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? I done got resources in the back of this green. I got the green pages. I got a list of resources. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there's help behind help behind help. At the
There ain't
end of
no
the
reason.
day, I am big. That is, that's why I got a faith and mental health section in this magazine. I believe in combining the two. I believe when I found out that Liberty University was able to, like, they have it a part of their ethics, and you can incorporate, prayer and therapy. I was like, oh, now I'm in it, because that's why I kind of dropped off from it. But at the end of the day, I do believe, like I said, we pray for, like you said, sickness in our body, and then God sent us this doctor who made it all better. But we know that He gives us gifts, you know what I'm saying, for those to help us, and so we have created, like a bomb therapist, bomb Amanda, and all the other therapists that follow us, and we highlighted that's doing the daggone thing,
People doing
saying
amazing
mental health
work.
professionals.
Yeah.
And even for myself, people like I help carry out the treatment plans of my, of our supervised therapists. So you need
Right.
that person to hold your hand. Like, you got a treatment plan, but you only see them maybe once a week, but you need someone that you can call and talk to and kind of help you apply the tools that's given to them. So that's what I do. So it's like a team
Ooh,
that
I,
comes
I
together.
love that. I
It's a
love
team
that.
that comes together to make
Oh,
sure
I
that
love that.
that makes
You're
sure,
okay.
look, that you
Because
good.
Jesus had a team. He didn't do
Yes,
it by himself. He called his disciples to hold
it's
his hand.
disciples. Come on,
Yeah.
Amanda.
And he couldn't do the work without them, right? And even
Yes.
in their imperfections, he needed them. And that's why we have what we have now, and how many people know what they know now about who God is, right?
Mm,
So he's going to send people to
yes.
help you and guide you. Because, yeah, he's God and he's almighty, but he don't have to
Yes.
do it directly. He can send people to help you. You don't even
Amen.
understand why, right? Because what you're doing might be the healing for somebody else, for
Amen.
your generation and past you, for the next person that you might need to help. So don't tell yourself, sure, God can be your therapist, but he may also send people to support
Yes.
you to execute that plan, like Miss Nikki's
Yes.
talking about. That treatment
Come
plan. You don't
on.
have to do it by yourself. Come on, y'all. Y'all better stop it.
Come on now.
I
We have,
used to do
listen.
something that used to hurt me, sitting in church and seeing people praying about the same thing over and over and over again in agony and in pain, right? And in my mind, it was like, how are you serving God? And every time you're coming back on the same thing,
Come
how are
on.
you trusting God to show up in your life and do what it is He said He's going to do? Because He said all things work together for good. Right? So
Yes.
you are not allowing that good in your life if you are not opening up to getting help and talking to somebody. Open that window all the way
All
and
the
allow
way.
him,
Yes.
right? Because your
Yes.
seasons should
Amen.
be changing, your prayers should be changing, your worship should be changing. But that may mean that I've got to see that God is sending all these different people to help me in my life. And that's okay if their name is therapist, that's okay if their name is doctor, that's okay if their name is rally up,
Come
that's
on.
okay because we're
Yes.
rally up and do it
Yes.
together.
Yes.
Okay, let's
That's what
go.
rallying up the same lines. That listen,
Let's
we
go.
gotta be a
Get it
vessel.
together.
Yes, Queen. We all are vessels to heal it. Like, it's in
Get it
so many
together.
forms. So I pray that this live encourages you. You're listening to it now, listening to the replay, to get help.
Oh
We try
yeah.
to
Open
cover
up.
so many areas of why people don't get the help they need, and we ended with
Yeah.
one of the biggest ones, because I know, Like, we know that God is a physician. He's our therapist. He's all of that. But he sends help. He has gifted us, because listen, grad school and back all that, it wasn't easy to get. Look, the test we got to take and all that to get certified to be therapists, or even all the
It's a
tools and
lot.
tips, and even working with someone who has mental illnesses or having mental challenges, it takes a gift. God
Mm-hmm.
equipped us. It takes a special gift to touch on,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to be the vessel, the healing the gap for someone to heal, to get past that. So it takes a special person. Yes. Oh, you have to have big faith coupled with work and service. Yes. Faith without work is dead. Yes. And so I
Yeah,
pray
no
that by even
access
us
to
touching on that,
God.
we helping those who are, that's one of their big reasons. He uses the imperfect ones to do his perfect will if we can do it. Yes.
Yeah.
Look, God is using us. And I'm grateful to be you know what I'm saying? And that he saw me and equipped to be, because it does take, I'm trying to tell you, every specialty that everyone has, from the surgeon to, I could just go down the list of the specialties.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Even the person in charge of like housekeeping, the
Yes,
person who got to put
everything.
the tools there for the surgeon to use, everybody has a role.
Everybody,
Mhm.
God has we all a part of it. Like, you know what I'm saying? We do
Yeah,
our part. And if we do our part, we all can, come on. We can just make an
yeah.
impact. You know what I'm saying? In the epidemic, the things that's happening that's associated
Oh,
with
there's too
people and
much
their mental
happening.
health.
Yeah, we have to do our part. We got to prioritize ourselves. We need to prioritize our mental health. And we've got to look out for each other, right? Even if we don't
Yes.
understand it, even to say like, listen, I really don't understand, but maybe there's somebody that does, and
Yes.
I can help you find that person. Like, I will partner with you until I help you
Being
find that person,
that
right?
part too. Being able to, we gotta work together, y'all. It takes all of us, like, and
Yeah,
that's
gotta go
the
back
big
to
thing of what
community.
people like. What rallying up mean? I mean, rallying up everybody, even down to, I need the family to work with me. I need the uncles and anybody who this person means, that's important to you in your life. Care, like you
Yeah,
said, checking on a strong friend. It's so much. It's so many parts to this that's going to help
we're better together.
to make this change. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It takes a
Hope
village.
everyone lost person. It took a while to accept. Had to tell my friends and families that even though I have this gift and I'm being called, I had to be ready. It's a lot to take on. It is, but God equips you. So that is the biggest part. So if you're one who feel like, that prayer is all you need, I encourage you to, tap into it a little more. It's okay. It's okay, because God is sending help, and it's beyond just, if you prayed about it, he just sent you the help. You just got to recognize the help he sent. Because I already know he sent you help. You just like, no, no, God. No, God, I just trust you. Just, it's going to go away. No, he like, listen, I sent you some
Yeah.
help.
All right. The only ones that do that. Yeah.
So I think you can check and see if we missed any questions. Anybody had questions or anything as we wrap up? I think I was trying to touch on some of the comments. I thank you all for joining us. I pray
Yeah.
this was a
Yeah.
blessing.
I'd say one, so I'll just answer that real quick. Some good coping methods. And we kind of talked about it there, right? And because coping is an everyday thing, right? Just like eating healthy should be an everyday thing. Sometimes we don't. We go for the Cheetos, right? I like my jalapeno chips at night, right? But okay, how do I get back on track? Sleep, cutting off social media, stop all that damn scrolling. The blue light is not really good for you. It helps your mind to stay awake, so just cut it out. And it does things like we start comparing ourselves, right? And it starts hurting our sense of self. So we really don't need to be on it that much. Taking a walk, setting a timer on your phone to get up and go take a walk, right? I'm notorious for this, and a lot of people are, where we sit all day and work because there's so much to do. So we got to be conscious about taking those breaks. Move your body, right? That makes such a difference with your mind. Turn up the music, dance, have a good time. Right? Our people have rhythm, right? Go jump rope, go dance, go to church, clap, pray, sing, right? Sway, move. All of that is a rhythm that heals your body and releases things for you. Drinking water, like all of the natural things that you can do that really help you out in terms of coping. One thing may not work. You may have to put a couple things together, right? You're super overwhelmed in the moment. If you can, jump in a cold shower. You have ever experienced the hot water going off on you in the shower? It's an immediate shock to your system. You're like, right?
That's good for
It's helping
anxiety
to
too.
regulate.
Yes, the
Yeah.
temperature check, that's good for anxiety. It's a good thing for
Oh,
anxiety.
yeah.
Hmm.
Stress, worry, it's like an immediate shock and self-regulation from the inside. So put those things together, but practice it daily. Don't wait till it's a problem. Practice reaching out. And it may not be to call somebody to say, I have a problem, but to call them and say, just, hey, I just want to say what's up. Because then it'll make it easier when things are going on to call that same person again and say, yeah, today's not so good. You know, maybe I could tell you about da 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 da. But so don't wait until we're in it, right? Let's really start practicing some good habits and lifestyle changes for ourselves. You deserve that. You
Yes,
deserve to.
yes.
You deserve that on a day-to-day basis. Your mind needs it. So just take those little things and it'll make a difference for you.
Yeah, I think that's big. I want to speak on that one too. I would disappear in a minute. I used to push myself and be trying to post and be on here because it's my business and and my foundation and
Oh,
all this.
the good virtual
Anybody who
wellness
follows me
destiny.
personally and is on my personal page, I will dip. Now, I am if my cup is empty, I don't have nothing for you, or I would dip and not post. And people like inbox me, you okay? But I thank God for those people because I'm like, oh, people care, but they're like, where you are. But being okay with that, because if they really support you and you really support Riley Up Magazine and We Fight Foundation and Therapy is Dope and Amanda
Mm-hmm,
Coaching, you're gonna come back
mm-hmm.
when we come back. You're gonna be like,
Right.
oh, you're back, welcome back. Because
Be
you're gonna
okay with
realize we're
that.
little
Yep.
people behind here, and we have to really learn that we have to take time for us. And it's like you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
because then you find yourself self sabotaging and self doubt, and then you're
Oh,
failing at some things that you want to get done. So
we get in
it's
our
a
own
chain
way.
reaction. So we gotta really that because this social media thing, this is like the way of the world. But it can be so bad. It can be so
Oh, it's
toxic.
good and bad at the same time, right? Go back to what Spider-Man said: with great power comes great responsibility,
Oh my
right?
goodness, listen.
And
And
you're
we gotta
responsible
know,
for
you gotta
yourself.
know when it's time to
Mhm.
step away. You gotta know when
Oh,
I had
yeah,
enough. This is overwhelming. Let me go ahead and back away for a minute and being okay with backing away. That's a part of mental health. That's about part of
it
taking
is.
care of your self-care. It's a part of that to take care of yourself. I think we covered everything. I'm kind of going back. But
Beautiful. We did.
yeah, I think we touched on a lot, y'all. I pray this was live was useful and maybe encourage someone who's been second guessing getting help. Me time for sure. Eye time. I like that. Eye time in the mirror.
Ooh, uh-huh.
That's good.
Oh, yes, I am fabulous, right? I'm beautiful and wonderfully
Yes.
made. I'm doing the best that I can.
Oh, eye time in the
Mhm.
mirror. See your importance
Yeah,
and value in
I
yourself.
did all that I can do today.
Woo!
Yeah,
We gonna end on that one.
I love
That one right
Yeah.
there is do us a favor. Spend some eye time in the mirror and see the importance and value of who you are. That right there. Because many of us do not do that. We get in the, we fixing our, I'm cutting my hair, trying to make sure I'm good, but encouraging ourselves. Even when we didn't complete a task or get things done like we wanted to get done today, being okay with that. That's a whole
That's
nother
what I
lie.
did today. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a whole nother lie. But I pray that this was good for you all. This is a conversation. And we probably do a spinoff from it because it's really a lot that we can carry on and talk about. This even was brought up in the topics and in the comments. So I thank you all for interacting with us and letting us know what's on your
Oh,
mind.
yeah, that's phenomenal.
Definitely connect with us. We have a platform that we highlight all the special things that you all doing, your organization, who you are, your story. I love it. I believe in highlighting. That's the way we want to normalize conversation. Therapy is dope. Like I told her, she's a contributor writer for Raleigh Up Magazine. But tell us all the other wonderful things that you have going on before we close out.
Oh yeah, thank you. So I mean, you guys can always follow me at Therapy is Dope, which is really just like education and encouragement. I think it aligns really well with Rally Up Magazine and really normalizing mental health for Black and Brown folk. I have a Caribbean background, so coming from that lens, mental health is everything to me. So I also coach in that realm for women in business because we do get in our own way, right?
Yeah.
We believe that we're not enough and that we can't do it, and then many of us are putting off our dreams because of our fears. So for me, same skills that I use to help you navigate anxiety, which is really what it is, we could do that in the coaching realm too, right? If you need someone to speak on this stuff, I see some of you talking about having conversations in churches and with your groups. And If you need ideas and support, like reach out. When you talk about
Yes.
asking for help, like this is it, right? Like, Nikki, do you know somebody that's blah 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 blah? Hey Amanda, da 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 da. Like we're here, and
Yes.
that's all it is for me. So, you can follow me on Therapy is Dope, and you can also follow me at Amanda.Fludd. It's a little bit more of the coaching side, so you guys can get whatever you need. We're here.
Yes, connect. And look, y'all, I had some questions. I'm gonna say it again. I don't know if we got cut off in the beginning, but I was talking about dear Amanda. If you have questions, if you even in this situation, if you're not sure about getting mental health help, or
What to
something
expect,
that
right?
maybe trying to figure out how to get a good therapist, anything that's associated with just that's affecting your journey of healing and getting the
Yeah,
help you need, drop those questions. Rally up magazine at gmail.com. Send us those questions, and then you can get the digital or the print copy. It will be answered in the following issue.
right. It's like how they say, right? You might be featured in the magazine.
Yes. So, you can do it anonymously, or you can, if you want your name included or your little picture, we'll do that as well. Most people do it anonymous, but if you say, hey, I want you to know that it was me who asked that question, we'll do that as well. But definitely drop those questions for our Dear Amanda section. And then if you're a therapist, we're looking for other therapists to even come in on as guest writers and
Bring
write
your
for the Therapy is Dope
expertise.
section. So definitely inquire with that at Raleigh submissions.com, or even our office.rallyup@gmail.com. So let us know, even with that part. Oh, thank you all. Thank you all. To strive to make the kings as kings are out of here is always strong. He wants us to lean on him no matter what. Yes, yes. But don't let that stop you from getting help. Yes. So I appreciate. Do you have to be a therapist? Oh, no. Not for that's not we have so many sections in this magazine. We have a space for everybody. We even highlight those who making a difference in the community. So where are you ladies located? I'm in Maryland and Amanda's in New York. And then
Yeah, I'm in New York.
yep. So we even our writers and the people on our team are all over. Like it's not
All
just
over, yeah,
we
for
are
sure.
all over. The Raleigh Magazine team is all over. So, but we appreciate. We're going to get off here because I know I got to get back to work, and Amanda got to get back to work. But we appreciate you for joining. I'm Nikki with Raleigh Magazine. I'm the founder and CEO. I also have We Fight Foundation because Raleigh Magazine is a product of We Fight Foundation. So make sure you join both platforms. You can follow us at both at We Fight Foundation or at Raleigh Magazine on Facebook and IG. And then go to RaleighMagazine.com to subscribe or just follow us to some of the stories that we highlight on there. It's all the amazing things that we're doing. And most importantly, join us to rally up to save lives, you all. I fight, you fight, and we fight together. Blessings to you all.